Hi, I'm Tommi Melito, and my title at HWCLI is Economic Stability Program Manager. Um, Economic stability as a phrase is something that when you first hear it, it sounds fairly intuitive, but when you start to really think about what it means, it becomes increasingly vague. And it definitely merits a lot of unpacking. It means that I get to oversee a lot of different projects in focus areas related to everything from tax preparation to access to fair and equitable healthcare on Long Island. And I could tell you a lot about the different projects that I oversee, and I will tell you some, but I think in terms of what my role is here at the organization, the most important thing that I can impart to you is that Long Island is and always has been a place of great inequality and great disparity. Essentially the beginning of this being a place where people live, Long Island has been known for areas of immense wealth and opulence, right? Great Gatsby is based on here. People that aren't from here, when they think of Long Island, they think of the Hamptons. They think of celebrities having vacation homes here. But the other story that's told far less frequently is that Long Island is a place of crushing poverty and struggle for folks that just are trying to make ends meet. To be able to survive on Long Island, a family has to be making so much more than what federal poverty guidelines allow for. And I think that in terms of the work that we do here, and in terms of specifically the work that I do, sort of addressing that disparity and looking at ways to bring resilience back to historically, systemically marginalized communities is, the most important role that I can play and the most important thing that I can do. Two of the most major projects that I am involved in and that I oversee are our virtual VITA initiative, and VITA stands for Volunteer Income Tax Assistance. And VITA is basically a free tax preparation service for any individual or family that makes under $54,000. And this is huge for a few reasons. So if you make under $54,000, number one, you or your family may be eligible for a lot of tax credits that you don't know about just by merit of being a working family or being a working person. And then the other part is that if you go to a tax preparer, if you go to an H&R Block, if you go to Jackson Hewitt, any of those services, you could easily be paying, $500 for a tax form that's very simple to do and to get done. So when your refund is $1,000 or $800, and you've already had to pay most of that out just to get your taxes prepared, you're not recouping anything. You're not getting anything back for all of the hard work that you do. And another thing that I want to highlight with why our program is so important is that typically, and this is especially goes for low-income families, there are a lot of really predatory lending organizations out there who will make these really too good to be true claims of, we'll prepare your taxes for you, we'll give you a loan on what your refund's going to be, so you have money, in advance, you can have the cash now. So they'll give folks loans for a couple of $1,000s at incredibly criminally high interest rates. And then, maybe they'll file their taxes, maybe they won't. So these folks are looking at, not even having their taxes done and then having to pay back all of this money at really high interest rates. So our service is completely free. We do, our tax prep is with a partner org that is basically directly trained by the IRS. And it's a way to really not only have people make sure they're getting their added benefits of the tax credits and refunds that they work hard for, but it's also a safeguard against a lot of really predatory and unethical organizations that are out there. It's one of my favorite things that I've ever done in my career. And just a quick note again about that disparity on Long Island. We spent a lot of time in Riverhead this tax season. And when you think of the East End, again, you're thinking of these sort of, the Hamptons and even Riverhead, like these very opulent, like vacation places. We dealt with so many working people that, oftentimes didn't have access to internet, didn't have email addresses. And that we're really isolated from services. So I just think that's always important to highlight that even in these areas that are known for being wealthy, you have folks that are working so hard every day, working multiple jobs, and are just barely getting by. And those are our clients, and those are the people that we're always trying to serve and look out for. The other project that I'm currently involved in is called Coordinating to Address Hunger as a Social Determinant of Health, and it really centers on working with WIC providers within federally qualified health centers on Long Island. What does that mean? WIC, it stands for, it's a supplemental nutrition program for women, infants, and children, moms who are either pregnant or have children from ages 0 to 5 can be eligible, and WIC offers nutritional support and counseling. It offers breastfeeding support and counseling, and then also it gives moms and children access to healthy food packages every month that they can use. So we're looking at WIC providers that are housed in these health centers that are basically catch-all medical providers that people that don't have insurance or have limited insurance can go to get solid medical care. And we're looking at really improving experiences for moms and clients of these clinics, and then also looking at what are the barriers to breastfeeding for moms on Long Island. We've heard a lot of different things, but moms have a really tough time in the workplace. When they go back to work, they have a tough time just finding that community support for breastfeeding. And when you get into the literature and you start to hear about all of the so many health benefits that accompany breastfeeding, the way that it's good for baby's immunity, it's good for mom's immunity, it's cost saving, not least of all, it's incredibly cost saving. It's pretty insane, all of the barriers that these moms face. So again, two projects that are kind of at totally different ends of the spectrum, but all with the same goal of making our communities stronger and our families stronger. I hope that was helpful to you. It's definitely, and not all over the place, although sort of the diverse nature of our work is definitely why I love working at HWCLI. I love being able to look at issues that affect Long Islanders across the map, because as you get further into the work, you start to see that everything really is connected. And if you start to address one piece, you have to start looking at all these other pieces of life experiences for communities and for families and for individuals. At any time, I mean, I'd be happy to speak with anybody. If you have questions, if you need more detail about something, Gina has my contact information. So thank you for coming to HWCLI. Sorry I missed you, and hope you enjoyed my video.